Hello again, my friends, and you are my friends. And it is, in fact, the 15th of October, S.I.L Weekly Roundup. Ignore the thumbnail on the intro. It doesn't exist. We did not see it, my friend. We did not see it. I hope you are all well on this Monday evening. This is the show that rounds up the S.I.L in half an hour or less. Hopefully not too much longer than half an hour. Try and keep it nice and condensed. Keep the quality high, and we invite you all at home, whether you're watching live or on catch up, to get involved and be a part of the S.I.L Weekly Roundup. If you're live, get involved in the live chat, say hello, drop a comment. Have you seen a game this weekend or going to a game? If you've got any match day footage that you want to send the show, send it into home@dressing89@gmail.com. And if you're watching on catch up, which many hundreds of you do, then please leave a comment on anything you hear, see, or whether you went to a game or not. You can follow us on all podcast platforms. Just search Talking S.I.L Weekly Roundup, and you should find us. Any problems, you can find us all on social media. Of course, Trimley Red Devils have kindly given us their YouTube channel here to do the show. So a huge thank you to them. No match day highlights from them this week. Normally they're out on a Wednesday at 7:30, but there's none from Trimley. They didn't play, but a number of teams did, which we'll hopefully go through. I've got a lovely guest joining me to help break down the action, and let's go ahead and bring him in. Actually, you may know him as Henley reserve manager. I know him as Dan, but this week he's not very happy. It's of course Dan Barnard. Dan, you've been. How are you first and foremost? Are you well, sir?
Yeah, I'm not too bad. Yeah, not too bad. Just reliving the events that happened at the weekend.
Shall we start with that, or do you want to end with that?
You can get it out of the way with.
So, for those that may know, or perhaps those that don't know, Dan Barnard is Henley FC reserve manager. He's been on the platform for the last couple of weeks. I'm probably going to say crowing. They're doing really well. And then they came up against a side called Walsham Le Willows. What happened from that point on, Dan?
We lost 5-1.
How? Break it down for us. Tell myself and the people at home what went right. Not a lot by the sound of it, but what went wrong, more importantly.
To be fair, I mean, Walsham Le Willows reserves were quite youthful. They were already good in the ball. They had always had 2 or 3 players around one of our players that just didn't allow us to play. We didn't play football at all. I mean, it took us probably a yellow card midway through the first half to actually get us going a little bit.
Really?
Yeah. So we just didn't. I mean, they scored within the first 2 minutes of the game. So, I mean, then it just set the tone of the game. Really, we were just chasing it from then. But to give credit to Walsham, they fully deserved it. You can see why they won the cup last year.
Yeah.
So.
Okay,
I mean,
they're cup winners from last year.
Yeah.
They progressed obviously because it was a cup game again. Yeah. But 5-1. A positive is you found the location okay. A negative is you didn't get going to what, half an hour in?
Well, yeah, it took us about 30 minutes to get going, and obviously that then caused the person who got a yellow card to then get injured to come off. Yeah. So, I mean, we went 3-1 down at half time. If we'd have probably got the second in the second half, because the first 10 minutes they were quite shaky, and if we'd have found that second goal, I think we would have got on top. But I mean, legs then become heavy from chasing the game, and then they become a little bit more youthful, and the legs started to get a bit more pacier, and ours were just a little bit stuck in the mud.
It happens. So, it happens. It's a cup game. You dust yourselves off. You go again. Who have you got up next then, Dan? Who could people come and watch and see you play?
Well, we're finally at home. Oh. We were at home Saturday, but Gainsborough Sports Centre, so we're finally at home against Stanton Reserves.
Stanton, who are in 5th, obviously played 5, 8 points. You're in 2nd with 12. So that's a really good little interesting tie actually. How do you think that'll play out through the course of the 19th?
Well, I mean, there has to be a reaction from last Saturday.
For sure. So, yeah.
I mean, a lot of players were frustrated after the whistle had gone. So hopefully this Saturday, we put things right Wednesday, and then Saturday we get the 3 points and then carry on where we left off in the league. So let's hope that happens.
And so it's a blip, a road bump, as you would say. But Stanton doing great themselves,
Yeah.
so that'd be a really interesting tie, to say the least. Are there any vloggers in the S.I.L anymore? Do you get chance where people go along to various different games and record it? Are there no more vloggers in the S.I.L? How's the lay of the land on the vlogging front to get footage of other teams?
I mean, to be fair, there should really be a lot more than there is. I mean, Tony obviously does the Henley's first team vlog.
Yeah.
And it's quite good. Dean Cooper does travel a few times around to pitches as well. He does a bit of it as well. But yeah, I mean, there should be more. I mean, there's plenty of people might be out there that could do that. And obviously drop the points to us, and we can go over them. So it'd be quite good to see.
Yeah, I just wondered how the land was now with vloggers, and
I mean,
point it was really quite popular.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of it's done by VO Cam now.
Oh, is it?
So yeah, so
of course,
a lot of teams,
yeah,
a lot of teams.
Are there many that have those?
There's a few. There's a few that we play against. I mean, Grunsborough have one.
Okay.
So that obviously at the moment there are quite a few that we've not played against that do have the cameras. So
have you managed to get any sort of footage of Stanton? Have you prepped yourself? Do you know what to expect from them at the weekend?
No, as I said again, we're going into another team that we haven't played against. I mean, their first team are doing quite well in the league, and that goes through to the reserves. So it's not gonna be an easy task by all means. So
no. But I suppose you control the controllables. You control what you can control. You set your tone. You set your stall out. Work rate, effort, etc., and then you build off that, I guess. But good luck for Saturday. Obviously, we'll be here to talk about it next Monday, 7:15. If we look into the senior division, albeit very sort of quickly this week, because there's not been a whole lot going on in terms of league fixtures. There's been a couple. So let's have a quick look at that. You've had Bilderston 5, Benall 2, Copplestonians 0, Leiston St Margaret's 2. So Benall are now sort of, I wouldn't say cut adrift because they're not. It's only 3 points, but they're now bottom with 3 points behind East Burgolt. Copplestonians are on 4 points. Leiston now on 7 points. Dan,
yeah, they've done quite well. Their last two results have been quite positive.
Yeah,
so
really good.
They look like they're on the up now. I mean, Henley play them Saturday, so it'll be interesting to see what happens.
Yeah, Henley, who sit top. I look forward to getting the VEO camera footage of that one. That should be an interesting game.
You've got a free week this week, haven't you? Don't know what to do with yourself.
No, I've had more time than I've known what to do. That's absolutely right. You've had Old Newton 0, Claydon 3, Ransoms 2, Wickham Market 1, Sporting 87 1, Halsworth Town 4. Claydon winners again. Old Newton away 3-0. Good result for them, up to 5th now. It's getting nice and tight out there, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean that's the best way you can look at leagues, to be quite tight and quite competitive. It's not always good having one team running away with the league. It's always good to keep it, quite competitive. I mean, the Halesworth result was a little bit more than I thought it would be against Sporting 87.
Yeah,
which is, but I knew Halesworth, and obviously they're quite strong. They've got good players, so they're up there as well. So I mean, Ransoms as well. Ransoms are up there.
Well, the 2-1 victory for Ransoms. That now leaves them in 4th. They've won all 5 of their first 5 Ransoms. Played 5, won 5. Golden to 13, 15 points. Another great side coming out firing. 2 games in hand on Henley. Mm-hmm. They'll be eyeing it up early doors. That Sporting result, though, as a neutral who just puts together the footage and then talks about the sides here on a Monday. Should I be surprised at that? I mean, Sporting obviously the week before beat Trimley quite comprehensively. It has to be said, 5-1.
Yeah,
and then they go and get beat at home 4-1 by Halesworth. Does that show the quality of Halesworth? An off day for Sporting? How should I view that, or how should people at home who are neutral, brand new to S.I.L be viewing that result?
I mean, you have to give Halesworth credit because they're well-equipped team. They are a great team to play against. But Sporting 87, they're no easy walkovers. They've obviously pulled a few results out. So, I mean, that was probably. I mean, the game itself probably was a lot more entertaining than. I mean, I think Sporting probably had a lot more chances than just scoring the one. But I mean, Halesworth are just they're a decent setup. I mean, they're reserves as well. So, but it's just about how they respond now, Sporting next week. But they're the new team in the league. So they're a new team in the league, and they're not going to probably think it's easier than they played in League One. So it's going to be tough. Get tough weeks. So
yeah, it's going to be tough. Only 3 teams keep unbeaten, and that's obviously Henley, who didn't play, Ransoms, and Trimley Red Devils. Trimley didn't play either. Looking at the upcoming fixtures for the weekend coming up, Howsworth play Trimley. We've just spoken about them, Dan. Trimley's obviously got an unbeaten run at the moment. They've not lost a game yet this year. That could be a really tasty match day highlights next week, couldn't it?
have you been to Howsworth before?
I've been to Howsworth, yes, not for the football.
Pitch. I mean, when you get their footage, you can tell how well the pitch is. Pitch is lovely out there,
Nice.
And I think they are pushing obviously to go a little bit further to furlough none as well.
Really?
But I mean, the facilities they've got, they can do it. It's just about how they do it. But yeah, that's going to be massive. I mean, Trimley with a week off. I think they're pretty gearing themselves up to go and travel there. It's always good to get Howsworth away before Christmas, when the weather starts getting a little bit colder.
Yeah, it's true. It is a fair old trek as well, I guess.
Yeah, it's about an hour. Yeah.
Yeah. Leiston, just spoke about them again. They're at home to Henley, who are currently top of the division. Not an easy trip for Henley.
I think it's Leiston 2 on a bounce. I think they're 2 on a bounce now. So Henley, obviously, they can't think it's an easy game to win, because no games are easy to win now in the league. You know, so.
And of course, Ben will travel to Old Newton. Old Newton off the back of their defeat. Could Ben all look to get a couple of points on the board there? Will Old Newton come out firing? Some really interesting, intriguing ties coming up this weekend. I'm really quite intrigued to see what a number of teams do, Dan.
I mean, the league. I mean, you've got to look at Sporting 87 as well. They're playing Copperstonians as well. So
yeah,
that's going to be every game in that league is just. I mean, it's going to be tough. You can't.
It's immensely tough in that division, isn't it?
Yeah,
really.
You have to have the right resources and stuff as well to be in there, and I think a lot of the teams are.
Yeah, and as we've heard a couple of times over the last couple of weeks from various managers that have been on, it was also getting the social diaries right. You know, you gotta hope that the game you have against so and so, it falls well on people having weddings, holidays. You know, obviously we're post-COVID, post-pandemic. People's social, I don't know about yours, but mine is getting like, oh my gosh, when can we do this? When can we do that? And it's just like
you're always busy. You're always busy.
I am always. To be fair, I do try and make myself you stay out of trouble if you're busy. That's what I've always learned.
Yeah.
I don't know about you, but if we go into Division 2 now, and I think this is really our first trip into Division 2. The spotlight falls on Division 2. I'll show you the league table first and foremost. Curtin Athletic currently leading the way, only lost one game in the first 12 points. Sporting 87 reserves, Thurston, Great Blake and Checkers, Claydon reserves, Gabriel Kestrel, Saxman Sports. And at the end of the table is Copperstonians and Stonham Aspel. Early look at that table then, Dan. Most people played 4 or 5. What are your thoughts as you look at that table early doors, I know?
Again, Curtin obviously still sitting top. Played 5. They look like they're doing a good job this season.
Is that Midgley's team?
I think he's to do with Curtin, yes.
Nice. Let's try and get him on.
I'm not sure if he's a player or not, but yeah, I mean, it is a good league to be in. I'd hate to be in that league this season. There's a lot of teams that are really good in that league.
Who's your early favourite?
If I'm honest, I would go Thurston.
It is. There he is. Look, there he is. I'd
honestly go to Thurston. The reason why is because there a lot of Old Newton players have come down to play Thurston because it used to be the Old Newton manager that was who's now at Thurston. So
is that Matt?
Yep.
Okay, cool. That's okay, brilliant. So so you got that element to it. Thurston, James Midgley's in the chat. He says up the curtain. So I imagine he is something to do with Curtin, who are leading the way.
Yeah.
But you've picked out a couple of a result from the weekend which stood out to you, Dan. What was that result? I could see it clear as day right here. But what for the people
I
at home is
picked,
that result?
obviously, I picked Bramford United
Mm.
that beat Bardwell 5-0. That's the first win for both teams. Well, obviously for Bramford United, they've had a few call-offs. I don't know why, but I've heard again for play availability. In all, so but, I mean, Bardwell, I hope they stay in the league to the end of the season, but it's not looking great for them at the moment. They just seem to be plummeting down the league, and it's not something you like to see, especially after last season.
Never anything you'd like to see. But 5-0 is obviously a comprehensive win for Brantford. It gives them their first win of the campaign, gets them up and running. Thurston is being spoken about in the chat. You spoke about them. They play Ellswell next, Dan. That is a tasty little local derby, isn't it?
Big derby, massive derby. Yeah, they love the derbies around there.
That is huge. That is. Ellswell, who sit 10th, won 1 game out of 6, 1 draw, 4 defeats. That's a tasty game, that, Dan.
It's a massive derby. Bragging rights.
Get the old flares out.
Yeah. I think Thurston will be too much for Elmswell. I think. I think what Mac has done over there has been, great. I mean, they've got the sponsors. That's what you need over there. If you need a team, you need plenty of sponsors, and then you need quality. And they've got quality players. I mean, he's been quite the transfer market's been popular for him just lately, so it seems to be one every week. So,
okay, didn't realise that. Worth trying to approach them to come on the platform and have an interview, have a chat about how life's going, the football, the leagues. But that'd be an interesting game. Ellsworth versus Thurston. And obviously, I'm looking at Midgley's Curtain at home to Bardwell. Just spoken about them. Tricky trip for Bardwell. Then really, it's going to be tough, isn't it?
Yeah. I'd probably
have to go with a Curtain win, wouldn't you? You would have thought. I mean,
you would have thought so. You would have thought so. I just don't understand what's happened at Bardwell. I really don't. Whether the players are not happy, but I mean, you'd expect nothing more than a Curtain win. I'd probably go about 8-9-0 if I'm honest.
Fair enough.
No pressure. No pressure.
Well, this is it. Add the pressure to Midgley's side, and we'll see what goes on. Midgley, let me know in the chat. Do you play for them? Do you manage them? Are you a committee member? Where's it like? I mean, I had to play with James since I was a boy.
Really?
I've played with James's football team since I was 10 or 11. We were Grange Farm Rangers, and then we were together at Walton, Felixstowe Walton, I think. Yeah. He transferred in from Woodbridge Town. And then as an adult team, I managed him as an adult.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, never fit. Never fit in a million years. He had more hamstrings injuries than I know what to do with. Love him to pieces. Great guy, great character. Incredible player when he's fit. But he was always getting injured, bless him. He'd probably admit that himself, to be fair. So, but yeah, love him to bits. Love his dad to bits. Know him quite well. Good friends with James. So just let me know. Actually, I might must have messenger after the show. See what he's helping out where he can. Manage. What boy's always been your level, James? Lino, don't pretend you to play, James. Don't pretend, son. Don't pretend. I've seen you keep one before. For me, it wasn't good. Moving it on. There's one instance, I'm sure he was a linesman, where player was so far offside, it was unbelievable, but he didn't wave his flag and they scored. I was incandescent.
We had one of them last season where we were playing against One Aston at home, and we just recently changed the liner to make a sub. So a player that came off then run the line. He was chatting away to one of his mates, and lo and behold, the defender just cleared the ball. The player was offside, but then just carried on going, and then someone shouted out his name, and he went, "Oh!" and ran until he had to run, but it was done. They scored from it as well. So, and he said he'd never do the line again. You'll never do the line
I
again.
hate those ones. I'm not going to do it again. No, you will, lad. You will.
Yeah.
We're going to need you at some point to do it.
Yeah, exactly.
Everyone's got to have a turn on it, really. But into Division 3, there we go. There's the league table. Wycombe Market Reserves leading the way after 6 games, 13 points. Wanderers on the 23s in second. Hawley in third. Some big teams in this division. Some big hitters. Yeah. Early doors, Wycombe Market and Ipswich Wanderers, they're your front two, but Hawley and Houseworth on the same points as Ipswich Wanderers. What about that lead jumps out first of all before we get into results and upcoming fixtures, Dan? What's jumping out to you, leading your mind there?
it's just obviously the top four. That I mean, the top four will be there. That'll keep changing and swapping, and I mean, Ipswich Wanderers have only played 4 games. I mean, anyone connected to Ipswich Wanderers football wise, it's going to be a good setup. So, but I mean, it'd be quite entertaining to see them play each other, and then see what happens, because it's quite an entertaining league, to be fair. It's really interesting.
Do you think the fixtures among those 4 teams, Dan, will set the table up? Will set who does what and how it transpires? Do you think that's the equivalent of the Man City, Chelsea, Arsenal, Liverpool sort of? Those 4 games are going to be the ones that set the tone, or is there somebody else outside that top 4 where you think actually once they put themselves up and running, they're going to be sort of sneaking in there and playing amongst that?
Yeah, I just think it goes by the cup run as well, because the cups then take over from league, and then you're 2 or 3 games behind. And then you come into like March, April, where the season needs to be finished, and you're playing midweek Saturday, and then it's just it becomes too hard. It can become a hard thing to do. So it's always good. I mean, Wickham Market sitting top. It's always good to be top at the moment, because they've got that first place. But again, every team want to beat first place. So sometimes it's not worth being top at the moment.
It's a good point. It is a good point.
It's a bit like Mario Kart. You end up being first, and you get hit by a blue shell, and you end up second or third. So
this is it. And the cup is that that distraction. East Purgold beating Sporting then this week. East Purgold now in 6th, played 6-2 wins. Sporting
are division of league above. They beat them 1-0.
It was a cup game.
Yeah. Great game.
What sort of lift is that going to give East Purgold?
Sporting 87 are second in the league and the league above.
Exactly.
Not to concede as well, and 1-0 win is massive. So I mean, huge. Great credit to them, because that must have been a great game to watch. It could have been an 89th minute winner. You don't know. You just don't know. So
no, you just don't. You're right.
You'd love an 89th minute winner.
Can you imagine the scenes, Dan? Can you imagine
knee slides, everything?
Absolutely. 1-0. There it is. 15th. Yeah. East Purgold Reserve. You know what? Let's just do it, Dan. It was an 89th minute winner, back post, and then he's run the length of the pitch, slid on his knees, did the old, disco slide we all do when we're kids at a disco. He's done it all. Yeah. Rain is lashing. Let's really build that fairy tale up, Dan. Rain is lashing.
I'd be diving in the penalty area as well, mate. I'd be on that pitch sliding around and stuff.
And then after the game, they're all doing angels, in the big puddles that are forming. They're all doing it. It's gone mental.
And then next week's game called off because it's a waterlogged pitch. Too many people slide and stuff.
Too many angels in the penalty area. Fair point. I tell you what though, while we're on this page, Ipswich Athletic nils, Dublin 9. There's no 89-minute winners there, is there?
No, well, Athletic are in a different league to Stow Upland Division 1. So Ipswich Athletic are in Division 2. I know Kevin Clark from Ipswich Athletic. Bloke's done wonders at that club to keep it alive at first, and then just. Are
they a new club in Division 2? I don't know anything about
they've
been. So what sort of club?
Ipswich Athletic have been around for quite a while. They used to be a senior team.
Okay.
And they used to, and as I said, Kevin Clark's done wonders to try and keep that club alive, and he's managed quite well. And there's been a few boys at that club that don't tend to pay their fine fees, and then it hurts the club's pocket because they have to pay it, and trying to chase money nowadays is impossible. So but they've got a good. Ronaldo runs the team, is the manager. Not the real Ronaldo. Not the
I was going to say, that's a bloody coup and a half, isn't it? Ronaldo running the team.
Imagine the wages on that.
But imagine the players you could pull in with that.
Jesus.
Ronaldinho, Luis Figo,
Roberto Carlos with that free kick.
Yeah, Ben. Yeah, absolutely. Can you imagine it? And a fixture you picked out was Backton versus. Backton versus. Ockhold. Thank you very much. I can see why now. Backton are currently sat in 12th. Ockhold are in 13th.
Yep.
I can only imagine why you might have selected that as a featured fixture this week.
Just both of them haven't won a game this season, so It'll be a good, again, entertaining game because no one wants to be at the bottom of the league. So, but that'll be quite an entertaining game, I think. I mean, Trimley Red Devils are probably in the wrong position as well, to be fair. So, it's about getting out of that bottom position. I mean, if you do, then there's plenty of teams above them that are then back in that area where it could be a bit of trouble. And obviously, Claydon A, you don't want to see that. You want to get them out middle table and get them out the way of that danger zone.
You do, yeah. Obviously, Trimley and Claydon, they're both wanting to pull clear of back the knocker. Obviously, they'll probably love a 0-0 draw out of those two sides. Keeps them two, relatively behind them. But you would have thought one's going to come away with the win. You got to. Is it a case? Not got to have, but Ockhold obviously played 3 more games than Backton. So if you're Ockhold, you've got to fancy this is the chance to hurt.
Yeah, but they have to. I mean, Ockhold last season were half decent. So I mean, but again, Backton's games could have been called off because of the other team didn't have players. You just don't know. I mean, it's a funny old, year. It's just crazy. I mean, luckily for me, I've checked. Obviously, they've had a lot of teams being points deducted as well. Were given last week for not fulfilling a fixture. So you'll start seeing red stars against the teams, and that means they're not fulfilled their fixture, and it means they've obviously been given -2 points.
Okay, fair enough.
There's a few of them about.
Well, we'll look out for those on next week's show, 7:15 live right here. There's the fixtures for Ockhold early doors, beat by Ransoms 3-2 opening day in a narrow defeat. Dan, it has to be said.
Yep.
Then they drew against East Burgart 0-0. Again, and when they get beat outside of AFC Kesgrave, they don't really get beat by a tremendous.
Not far away, is it?
No, it's 1 or 2 goals. Claydon was a 3-2 defeat. Hawley Reserves was a 2-0 defeat, and then AFC Kesgrave was 3-1. So again, another 2-goal deficit.
Yeah,
it's going to be a tight game. Then you would have thought. Let's have a quick look at Backton's early doors results. Backton's early doors results have been somewhat a little bit different to Ockhold when they've got beat. They've they won against Saxmundham. Backton 5, Saxmundham Sports 1. That was Ransoms 5, Backton 2, and then the 3-3 look with Trinity Red Devils reserves opening day of the season. What a thriller! What a thriller!
Yeah. Well, Bam's I know Bam from Trinity Red Devils reserves. He's over there, so he's managed to get a good team going. But again, they're in the wrong place, I feel. So
yeah, absolutely. Well, it's early doors. It's only majority of teams play 5 or 6. It's early doors. Many points left to be played for. Division 4 wise, Walsham beat Grunsborough. Surprised on that one because you picked it out.
Massive. I mean, again, Walsham are a good club, but Grunsborough just like another result that just you wouldn't have thought would happen. So it's just it's a massive result for Walsham. I mean, if they've got players like we played against Saturday, then they'll do well. Yeah. So, but yeah, I mean, I thought Grunsborough. I mean, they're sitting 4th in the league, so and then 5th in the league. Sorry, and Walsham are 4th now, so they're just overtaking them. So it seems a shame, but maybe Walsham they had to play the players that they're given to them. So,
well, I'm just going to try and show you the league table now. Division 4, Hope Church in first with 12 points, Sporting in second with 12, Framlingham with 9, Walsham the Willows with 7 with the red asterisks, Grunsborough 7. So it opens it back up again, Dan. It brings it closer as it was, and you got Westerfield beating Bennell in the cup there 4-1.
Bennell in our league, they're a league below. So, but yeah, it's. I mean, you could go. It's anyone's game. I mean, Gip and Nats are a decent team as well. We played them in a friendly. We drew 1-1 with them. So, but it's just games haven't been played. Like Fram, Walsham have only played 4, and Westerfield and Gippon have only played 4. So,
do you find cup weekends a good pause for league action, or do you think cup weekends kind of, as a manager this season, asking you now, kind of disrupt your flow, particularly if you're doing really well? If you're flying. Is a cup something you think, it's cup weekend this weekend? I really would like to play so-and-so because we're on this great run, keep it running. Or do you think cup weekends really are still a little bit special?
Well, obviously it can be, but we we saw it as an opportunity to see where we actually are after playing so many games. So we want to see whereabouts we are as a team. Yeah. And obviously we clearly weren't there yet. So, but you know, other teams will you know, it's a step up for them to play against teams that you won't play again this season. You know, so it's your opportunity to then showcase what you can do, and then, you know, if you've only won one game in the season and you win the cup game last Saturday, your momentum starts to build up, and you go again next Saturday because you're winning games. So, but I mean, it can be a distraction, but you know, it all depends when it comes down to March, April. As I said, if you're continuing in the whole cup, the cup takes over the league, and then it just pushes the fixtures back. So it can become a distraction later on in the season, but not at the moment.
Have you had your training session this week yet?
Wednesday.
What's your message going to be to the lads as we round up the show?
Forget about it and just
move on.
The right things. Yeah, just do the right things. So
flush it and move on, as they say. You know, flush the tape, move on.
That didn't exist. It's gone. Yeah, it's gone now. I mean, you know, it's a cup game. We forget about it. It's not shown in our league position. It's not shown in our league stats. So, you know, we just now it's the time to show the stats and the league positions we're in. So we're just hoping that Bilderson some point slips up, but they're doing quite well at the moment.
You never know. I had a thing as a manager, and I don't know if you have the same, where 24 hours, win or lose, you flush it because you know it's gone. You enjoy the win if you've won, or you know, reflect on the defeat if you've got beat, and think about where you could have, as a manager, what you could have done better, what you could have done, you know, differently. This sub, that tactical tweak, whatever. But after 24 hours, my thinking was you've always got to flush it because it's gone. You can't dwell on it now, whether it's a win or a defeat. Flush it, move on, and confront the next opponent in front of you.
Yeah, everything was said in the change room, and then went to the pub, and as if, like, you know, it didn't really happen. So I think we done well with Philly last week, didn't we?
We did.
We did.
Sean Thomas, good one on Saturday. There you go. You see, it's the luck of the S.I.L Weekly show.
Yeah, but as I said, everything was said in the change room. We moved to the pub, and everything was forgot about, and you know, play a few games of killer, and then everyone was laughing and bouncing and ready for the Wednesday training session. So, yeah, so we just move on now.
Perfect. We're moving on to the weekend's action. If you're at a game, let us know. Get us some footage, send it in. We'd love to feature goals, highlights, cards, whatever you've got, send it in. We're back again next Monday, 7:15, right here on Trimley Red Devils' YouTube channel. Dan, good luck this weekend.
Cheers,
bounce back. Not too much luck, though. I don't want people thinking I'm biased. But all the best for it. Thank you for joining me. Hit the subscribe button, hit the like button. And as I said at the top of the show, ignore this thumbnail.